the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Got a short vlog for you today. I think it's going to be fairly quick. Making some good progress on the water wheelhouse. Trying to do a little more mass production on this side of the roof so I can get it done faster. And that's what the video is about today that I have for you. But first, I'll mention to you, I'm wearing my Houston House shirt, and the Houston House is an old hotel. And, of course, it doesn't show it there. And we'll be jamming there tomorrow evening. Well, we're planning to jam there tomorrow evening, though the group that hosts it is wondering if they're going to cancel it or not, because they're not too sure how many people are going to show up tomorrow night. I know Bill Pelliard and myself are going to be there, and that's about all I know for sure right now. That's really enough to host the jam. As a matter of fact, one time it was just me, and they had it. So I think if Bill's there, I think we'll have it. But anyway, it was up in the air. I sent them a note that both of us were going to be there, so I haven't heard their final word yet. But as far as I know, the jam's going to be on for tomorrow evening. So if you're in the area and you want to go to that, well, then it'll start around 6:15-ish tomorrow evening. Cash also confirmed for Thursday, the last Thursday night of the month, which I think is the 29th. And they're checking to see if Cambry, the girl that sang with him in the contest, will be able to make it. And if she can, that'd be great. They've worked up several different songs together now, and I think you'd enjoy that. They do a real good job. I think that's about it for right now. I just mentioned that I am going to go back to Mountain View, even though I'm having second thoughts about it. But I am going back to Mountain View June 12th. If anybody wants to meet up down there, that'd be great. A week or two before we go down there, or a few days before we get down there, if you text me or email me, I'll get back to you with my text number. So anyway, let's see. Here's the video to show you what I'm doing presently. That's the State of the Union on Thursday morning. You can see I've got 3 boards across. I put 2 of those up there this morning. And I had to pause because the one there, the last one I put on, it's sticking up higher than the rest of them. These are all rough sawed on the sawmill. And for the most part, they're pretty accurate. But every once in a while, you get one that's weird like that for some reason. And I don't know why, but it is. So I don't want any more of that. So I've got a process going on up at the shop that I'll show you here in just a second. Okay, here's the process at hand. You can see these boards. These are going to be boards that go on the across the top there. And they each have a mating smaller board here behind it. If you look behind there, there's all those. These have to go together because they are in varying widths. And you could say, well, why don't you just make them all the same? Well, you could, but then you're just wasting material, actually. As long as I keep these two together, everything's fine. They're the same width. And when you go across the line, as long as it's the same width, it's fine, Now, the thickness is different. That's the problem. Some of these are a little bit thicker than the others, and they're minor amounts, but they're differences. So what I'm going to do is run one side of these through the planer later, that big planer over there. I'll have to get it out and get it where I can get to it. But I'm going to go ahead and try to cut as many as I'm going to need to go up that roof before I do the planing. And that way I'll get them all planed the same too, and they'll all be the same thickness. I've cleaned up most of this pile that was on the floor of 2x6s. Some of these are 1xs that are laying here. There's still a few 2x6s also. Anyway, I just got a lot more work to do. Ain't nothing simple about this project at all. Well, so that's where we ended up. What you can't tell though is that I've got a double row here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 courses across the roof. And you figure 12 times 6, that's 72. So that'll take me about 6 feet up the wall, or up the roof, which I can't remember how tall it is. I think it's only about 9 feet, if it's any more than that. And I'm already about 18 inches up. So I think if I complete that row out, I'll be pretty close. I'll have to do some more calculating, but I'll be close if I finish out that row, and I won't be too far off. Again, I have to keep these individual sets separate, and then I've got to plane them. So after lunch, that's what I'm going to come down here, is plane all these, plane one side to get everything in even thickness, and then it'll go up much better. Yeah, and if you don't understand why have matched pairs there, well, it's just I don't have lumber long enough to go span the full length of the roof. I mean, yeah, some of those cedar trees grow long enough to do that, and I could have cut them that long, but the problem is they taper so much that you don't get much wood out of it. So like that bottom 8 feet is pretty good size, and you can cut fairly wide lumber out of that. But if you made it 12 feet long, which is about what I would need to span that roof, if you made it that long, well, by the time you get up to that 12 foot, then it's narrowed down a whole lot. Now you can't cut wide lumber out of it. You're cutting narrow lumber out of it. So, it's just what it is, as I say. So it's, so basically I'm cutting them 83 and 5/16 is the long board, and the other one is 50 inches. So I butt those together, and then that spans the full length of the roof. And those break on a roof truss, on those big heavy beam trusses. They break right on that, and so every other course I alternate. So I put the seam on this side on this course, and then the seam on that side on the next course, and vice versa, and just keep staggering them, kind of like you're laying bricks type thing, and go all the way to the top. So hopefully I'm going to get that done this afternoon. Get those up on the roof. Or at least I'm going to try. And that brings me to the next point, and I already feel bad because Dottie's already asking me to play a song. I was thinking about canceling the play-along for tonight just because of all the work I'm doing. If you don't mind, I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to cancel the play-along tonight, and we'll get it next week. And I'll get your tune there next week for sure, Dottie, that Little Mountain Church House. That's a nice tune. It's one of my favorites. It is. That's a great tune. But anyway, I think I'm going to cancel the play-along for tonight because I'm planning to work out there fairly late because it's too hot in the sun. I mean, it is. And the humidity here, you can cut it with a knife. I had to shut all the doors on the shop this morning and turn the air conditioner on because it's not that it's that hot yet. It's so crazy humid. It is pretty warm, too. I mean, it's like I imagine it's over in the 80s. Let's see. Yeah, it says 85, but the humidity is so thick, it's horrible. And, on top of that, all the tools in the shop will rust really bad. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm going to probably work really late this evening till just about dark trying to get that roof done because I can't do it out there in the sun. It's just, I only laid 2 boards on it this morning, and I heard he said as soon as that sun just peeked up over the hill, it was brutal. So there was no way I'm going to do that during the sunny part of the day. But while it's still sunny, I'll be in the air-conditioned shop, and I'll be planing those boards down to the proper thickness. Then when the sun goes over the hill, and that happens fairly early, around 3 o'clock or 3 or 4 in the afternoon, that area will be shaded. So I can get started about that time and work till I can't see. But anyway, that's the story. That's what I'm doing. Moving over to the comments. Let's see. Brian Byler was the first one in today. And then Ronald Todd says, "Good afternoon, Jerry, from the West Bank of New Jersey." Joe Nigan is there, and Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon. David Tharp says, howdy, Jerry and friends. I hate it when people can't let go of the past. Debt collectors are the worst. Yeah, you'd think they could give up after a little while. Speaking of debt collectors, the assessors have been here. I know they're going to eat us alive. The young assessor was here a couple of weeks ago. And I say young, I mean, I don't know how old he was. I can't even remember what he looked like now, but I'm going to guess he was in his 30s, somewhere in there. Anyway, he was here, and he was talking about all the buildings that aren't on the plot. So he was adding buildings left and right, and so I'm sure that isn't going to help. And then yesterday, or was it the day before? Anyway, recently, two of the main guys, two of the big bosses were out driving around, and they pulled in, and they were, chit-chatty and nice. They weren't out actually doing the assessing, but they were looking the place over a little bit, So Sue is in the process. There is a form to fill out to keep your, whatever that is. Is that personal property or is that real estate? I don't know. Anyway, to keep your assessment the same. So once you're a certain age, once you're a senior, there's a form you can fill out to keep your assessment the same. So I don't know. She's in the process of filling that out. So I don't know where that's going to wind up, but kind of got a good idea. It ain't going to be good. Let's see. Gino Hitch says, hi, Jerry and friends. Beautiful day here in Monroe, Ohio. I'll bet you got all those shingles on. Ha ha. Good luck with that. Be careful. Yeah, no, we're not even beginning to start shingles yet. And it's going to be a couple weeks probably before I do the shingles because I got to cut a bunch more and then I want to let them dry. So I'm going to try to get this boards on today. And if I can get them on, well, then either yet today or tomorrow, I'm going to get that tar paper stuff over it. That way the whole roof is dried in. The whole building's dried in, or at least on, well, the roof part of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, I want to get that far, and then I'm going to start working on cutting shingles and stuff, and it's going to be a week or two before I get that finished, I imagine. Moving on down. And Dottie Hildebrand is praying for everybody. Thanks, Dottie. Kim Williford says, hello, Jerry and friends. I'm sorry I've missed so many vlogs, but having been watching them to catch up, who's playing tonight besides Jerry? Well, as I said, I don't think I'm going to play it tonight. So sorry, guys. I'm going to skip tonight because I just got to get this done. I mean, I really do, because Sue said it's supposed to start raining, and it's going to rain for several days. So I want to try to get it done tonight if I can. Then after we went live, Bo Horns there says, good afternoon, everyone, from windy Ruston, Louisiana. And David Tharp says, a pirate went to the doctor and said, I have moles on my back. The doctor said, it's okay. They're benign. The pirate says, count again, matey. There be 10. Long way for that one. Let's see. Kim Williford. Hi, David. I'm trying to leave the past behind, but it keeps catching up with me. Yeah, I'm kind of that way myself. Dottie Hildebrand says, could you play Little Mountain Church? Well, as I said, I'm going to probably try to get that one next week for you. Let's see. Moving on down. Ronald Todd says, Jerry, how are you getting on and off the scaffold? Well, that's the next problem. I'm going through the roof right now, but very soon that hole's going to be filled up and I won't be able to go through the roof to get on it. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get on it, to be honest, because there's no good way. There's no good way. yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stick the Bobcat over there with the bucket and see if there's a way I can crawl over the bucket and get on it. If that works, great. But the problem with that is there's two problems. One is it ties the Bobcat up, so Sue can't use it, which she's always using that thing. And the second problem, which is a little bit worse, is that it blocks the driveway. And so anybody pulling in or out has got a problem, So that's the name of the tune. And the other option is I may see if I can figure out a way to get a ladder up to it, but that's not a good option, unfortunately, because it's all so steep, hilly there. Anyway. Sidecar Bob, hi from the Carwathas. Sunny, nice here today. Bill Mumbo, okay by me, Jerry. I'll be able to get a good night's sleep. He says, I'll be awake all night, though. Yeah, I'm just kind of me too, boy, sleeping thing. Every once in a while, I don't know, I'll go 3 or 4 nights where I don't sleep very good, and then I'll have one good night, I slept fairly good last night. Not great, but fairly good for me. Wade Hampton, Jerry, you are one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. I'm 65 years old and couldn't hope to keep up with you 30 years ago. How do you do it? Well, it's the super diet I'm on. That's the only way you could keep up. You got to be on sugar, salt, and preservatives if you're going to keep up with me. There's no way you could do it eating salad and green beans and junk like that. You just can't do it. I'm just blessed is all I can say. I really am. The good health thing, like I said, on the big things in life, I'm the luckiest man on the planet. On the little things, look out. It's unbelievable on the little things. Kim Williford, Dottie, I'm still praying for you and the grandson. Yeah, and I hope he's doing well. She said he can't move his thumb still. That's not good. Bill Mumbo, Jerry, you should leave the scaffolding, make it into a Juliet balcony, then you can sing love songs to Sue. Sue doesn't like my music for the most part, so that wouldn't do any good. Lindenbaum, the assessors were here at my place in Central PA a couple of weeks ago. Wish we had a form to keep mine the same. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but she's presently working on that. Or she was. I hope she still is. Stephen Thomas, Jerry, I got a Gibson Maestro, maybe? The strings are way high. It seems the neck is warped. Is there a bar to adjust the neck? Well, Stephen, I'd have to see the instrument to know what to tell you to do. The truss rod, a lot of people think that's there to bring the strings down or up, and it can affect it, and it can be the problem, but it's fairly rare that that's the problem. It generally, if the strings are high, generally it's one or two of three things. It's either that you just have a super high saddle, which you could lower your saddle down, which is the piece that's on your bridge. You could lower that, or you could lower your nut, or both, or the neck angle's wrong. It's just that the neck angle is, I'm exaggerating, the neck angle's like this when it should be like that, and so generally that's your problem. Now, having said that, it is possible that it could be your truss rod, especially if some knuckleheads already either over-tightened it or with a two-way truss rod and they've turned it the wrong way or something like that. Who knows what it could be. I mean, it's possible it's the truss rod, but more than likely it's something else. I mean, it could be, though. It's not all lost yet. It could be the truss rod, assuming it has one. Sounds like you're looking for it. If it doesn't have a truss rod cover on the peg head, well, then it probably has a truss rod right under the sound hole toward the neck there, right under the top, right toward the neck. There should be a truss rod. Usually you have to adjust those with a Allen wrench. So good luck, Steve. Maybe you'll be able to take a look at that. I don't know. It's really hard to say. But I don't think your truss rod's going to fix it, honestly. Hugh O'Connor says, wish we had your temps over here, 15C or so. You might be a bit out of the way, but if they want your money, they'll find you. Well, the temperature, again, I'm not complaining too much about 85. I mean, that's not horrible. It's a little warm for this early in the year, but the humidity, it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, you feel like you're in a sauna out there. It's bad, man. I'm seriously telling you, the humidity is horrible. Dottie Hildebrandt, I thought I was the only one with problem sleeping. Yeah. I think, well, I don't know how old everybody is, but I think people that are in my age group pretty much all have a problem sleeping, I think. Kim Williford, Jerry, why are assessors at your farm? Hope you can get your debt paid so you won't lose your farm. Yikes. Well, the assessors are the people that assess the value of your property. Well, keep in mind, when I bought this property, it was super trashed. All the buildings were run down. It was in really, really, really bad shape. It was in super bad shape. Otherwise, I would never have got it. At the price he was asking, somebody else would have bought it. It's just that it was so bad that nobody else wanted to tackle it, I think. Or at least they were having second thoughts. And because they paused and had a second thought, I jumped in the middle of it and bought it. But anyway, it's fixed up now. And so those tax assessors look at it now and they go, whoa, this is pretty nice, And they look at all the buildings that are here that I've built. Like I built that big metal building. I built the greenhouse. I built the rental retreat. And I built the water wheel house now. And I fixed up all the other ones. Well, now they look at that and they want to assess your property at a higher value, which means your taxes are a lot higher. So I'm hoping that we can keep that where it's at based on my age, which, they say there is a form that holds it. You got to jump through 14,000 hoops to get it to be approved, though. I mean, like Sue had to find, I couldn't tell you how much paperwork she had to jump through and find to get all the stuff. But better her than me, because I wouldn't do it if it was me. That kind of stuff drives me nuts. I tell you, anything to do with the red tape of the government, I just walk the other way. I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it at all. It drives me completely bonkers nuts. Anyway, let's see. Bill Mumble says, Jerry, Gibson Maestro were a cheaper range of guitars, and a while ago, it may not have a truss rod. Well, it may not have. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Gibson Maestro, I don't think. I probably had one in the shop. I just don't remember all of them. When you get thousands of instruments in, I don't know anybody that could keep it all straight, like I did. They were in and out. They'd be here a day and they'd be gone. So it's like, you're going to remember that? Not likely. But I always did think it was funny, the people that would come back like 7 years later and go, do you remember that Gibson, that Maestro that I brought you 7 years ago? Like, yeah, right. Sure I do. But anyway, let's see. GNP Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. Totally understand managing your time to be comfortable physically with the heat and the cold. Okay, well, thanks. I just think that's the better use of my time this evening is to get that done and get it under roof. I really want to get it protected from the rain. Simon Jardine, I lowered the bridge and saddle on my guitar. The action is around 6 millimeters at the last fret. Let's see, 6 millimeters, that would be about 240 thousandths. That's a little bit high, I think. But at the last fret, it may not be. It may not be. I don't typically measure them there. So I don't know. It may not be too high there. Lost my place. It moved around on me a little bit. Well, that one got pulled. I guess that's what happened. All right. Well, let's see. G&P Old Marine Shop says in New York, as long as you stay, they don't increase the taxes from adding structures to your property. The next owner will. Yeah, that's not the way it works here. If you add stuff to your property, they come out. I think they come out almost every year. But I think they'd missed this place a couple of years at least. Anyway, the guy was... I don't know, the young guy, he was talking about all the stuff. That's all I can tell you. Didn't sound like it was going to be good for me. Bullhorn says, sorry, Jerry, but I won't be able to make Mountain View in June. Okay, well, I get it. John Fowl, I hope it's not a health reason, unfortunately. I bet it is, but I hope it's not. John Foss, Jerry, you're becoming my hero, all the work you do. Well... I'll just say thanks. Whatever. There's a lot of work here, man. I'm not kidding you. I got to get it under control though. I want to get done with the water wheel project. I really do. I got so many other things going on. I just want to get it done. Put it to bed. I knew when I started it how big of a project it was. I mean, it wasn't just building the building. I mean, you got to remember all the different things I've done. I raised the pond level. I moved the water flow. I built that retaining wall, and poured the concrete slab, built that rock wall, and then built the building, and it's just a lot to it. All right, so Simon's comments back now says, lowered the nut and on my 6 millimeter at the last fret. I'm not keen on moving the truss rod. Does a high action there affect the tone? I don't play up there. Well, as long as your action from your first fret to your 12th fret, if you're comfortable with that, then you're probably fine. That's just the bottom line of it. If you're good with that, you're probably fine. Ronald Todd, Jerry, you just need to get the water wheelhouse done. Well, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, I definitely want to get it finished. So that's what I'm going to go do. As soon as we're done here, I'm headed out there. I'm going to try to mill up a few more of those boards and then plane them all down to the right thickness and then slap them up there. It won't take long to put them up there. Especially if I had some help, it would be really easy. Somebody could hand me the dang boards, but I don't know. Sue's not real healthy these days, right? Lately, especially. She's not doing so well, so might keep her in your prayers. Let's see. One last comment. GMP Home Marine Shop, Jerry, you are quite an inspiration to hardworking, very unique person. Well, thank you. Guys, I'm going to let that be it, and I'm going to head right back out the door and try to get that stuff done. Thank you for understanding. No play along tonight, just to be clear, no play along tonight, but we will have one next week. We will see you tomorrow with something else.